The world's most famous man suddenly disappeared. When Elvis Presley was drafted into the Army, everyone thought he'd never come back. But when he returned from the military, he wasn't the same anymore. So what happened during those 2 years? And why doesn't anyone talk about it? Memphis, Tennessee, fall of 1957. In Graceland's living room, Elvis was drinking his morning coffee when the mailman knocked on the door. It was an ordinary day, but that envelope changed everything. A white official envelope, written in large letters. U.S. Army Selective Service System. Elvis's hands trembled as he opened the envelope. The paper inside had only a few words. You are drafted. Report date. March 24, 1958. He put the envelope down on the table. He stared at the ceiling. 2 years. For 2 years he would leave his music, the stage, his life. His mother Gladys stood at the kitchen door watching him. Fear was in her eyes. Do you have to go? She asked. Elvis turned to her. He tried to smile but couldn't. Just like everyone else, I'm an American too, Mama. But a voice inside whispered, what if you can't come back? What if they forget you? But what he didn't know yet. This is where everything changed. Before March 24, 1958, Elvis gave one last concert. In Chicago. The crowd was bigger than ever. Everyone knew. This was the farewell concert. When he stepped on stage, the crowd screamed. But this time it was different. There was sadness in the screams. They were afraid. Afraid of losing Elvis. He started singing Love Me Tender. But his voice was breaking. His eyes filled with tears. I'll be yours through all the years till the end of time. When the song ended, there was silence, then applause. But even the applause was sad. Elvis stepped away from the microphone. He went backstage. There, he stood in front of the mirror. Who will I be when I come back? He asked himself. There was no answer, only silence and uncertainty. Wait a minute. Don't miss this detail. March 24th, 1958. Fort Hood Military Base. Elvis Presley stood in line with other soldiers. His head was shaved. He was given a uniform. He was no longer the king, just Private Presley. U.S. 533-10761. The commander stood before the new soldiers. Nobody is special here, he shouted. Everyone is equal. Everyone is a soldier. Elvis bowed his head. For the first time, no one was screaming for him. No one was shouting his name, just silence. When he lay down on his bunk, he stared at the ceiling. The soldier in the next bunk looked at him. Are you really Elvis Presley? Elvis smiled. I used to be. He couldn't sleep that night. The same thought kept running through his head. What if I forget the music? What if no one listens when I come back? But here's the shocking part. 2 weeks later, Elvis started writing his first letter to his mother. Dear Mama, this place is different than I thought. Harder, lonelier. But I'm holding on. I'm holding on for you. I miss you so much. Your laugh, your smell, your voice, everything. Nobody knows me here. And that's strangely comforting. For the first time I can be myself. Without the stage. Without the mask. But at the same time I'm scared. What if you're not there when I come back? What if I'm not there? I love you, Elvis. He mailed the letter. But no response came. 1 week passed. 2 weeks. 3 weeks. Then one day the commander called him. Presley, there's an emergency. Your mother... Elvis's heart stopped. What happened to my mother? The commander lowered his head. She's in the hospital. It's very serious. You can get leave. Elvis ran. He got on a plane. He returned to Memphis. But it was too late. When the phone rang, his life would change. What you've seen so far is nothing. Hospital corridor, cold, white, silent. Elvis walked toward his mother's room. His steps were heavy, his heart even heavier. When he opened the door, he saw her, Gladys Presley, in her bed, pale, thin, but her eyes still sparkled. When she saw her son, Elvis, she whispered. Her voice was very weak. Elvis held her hand. I'm here, Mama. I'm here. Gladys smiled. I knew you'd come. You always come. I won't leave you. Never. But Gladys shook her head. You must. The world is waiting for you. Your music is waiting for you. If you're not here without music, what's the point of music? Gladys stroked her son's cheeks. I'll always be with you, in every song, in every note, in every breath. That night, Gladys Presley died. She was 46 years old, and Elvis Presley lost a part of himself, a part he would never find again. At that moment, the door knocked. You won't believe this. October 1958. Elvis was sent to Germany, to the military base in Friedberg, Europe. His mother was dead, his music was left behind, and now he was across the ocean. The first night he sat in the barracks. He picked up his guitar, but he couldn't play. He touched the strings, but no sound came out. It was as if he had forgotten the music. The soldier in the next bunk, Red West, looked at him. Aren't you going to play? Elvis shook his head. I feel like I've forgotten. Music can't be forgotten. What if I forgot? Red sat up. Then we'll remind you, all of us. And that night, they had a small concert in the barracks. Elvis picked up the guitar. He played tremblingly. He sang Heartbreak Hotel. But this time it was different. There was a real heartbreak in his heart. The soldiers applauded, but Elvis knew. It wasn't like before. Something had changed. The world without his mother was different. You haven't seen the biggest surprise yet. One evening at a military party, they called Elvis. Presley, someone wants to see you. Elvis entered the hall, and he saw her. A young girl, 14 years old, Priscilla Beaulieu, the daughter of an Air Force officer. Hello, said the girl. Her voice trembled. I'm your biggest fan. Elvis smiled. For the first time since his mother died, he really smiled. Thank you. What's your name? Priscilla. Beautiful name. What are you doing here? My father is stationed here. Are you real? Are you really Elvis Presley? Elvis laughed. Sometimes I don't even know. That night, they talked. For hours, Elvis told her about his mother, his music, his fears, and Priscilla listened, just listened. For the first time, Elvis felt understood. For the first time since his mother. When I come back, will you remember me? Elvis asked. Priscilla smiled. I'll never forget you. And she didn't. Years later, she became Elvis's wife. That sparkle in Elvis Presley's eyes. But here's the shocking part. In Germany, Elvis started giving secret concerts at military bases, in small bars. Nobody knew, only soldiers, and Priscilla. One night, he stepped on stage at a small bar. He picked up his guitar, and he sang, Are you lonesome tonight? Do you miss me tonight? Priscilla sat among the audience watching him, her eyes filled with tears, because the song was for her. Elvis looked at her, and at that moment he understood. His music hadn't died with his mother. His music was inside him. It always would be. When the concert ended, Priscilla ran to him. You were incredible, Elvis smiled. You were the inspiration. When you go back, what will happen? I don't know, but if I go back, I'll find you. As security approached. 2 years passed. Elvis Presley returned to America, Fort Dix, New Jersey. A press conference was held. Hundreds of journalists, photographers, fans were waiting. Elvis came out in uniform. His hair was short, his face was serious, but in his eyes, something had changed. Elvis! Elvis! Will you return to music? Elvis stood before the microphone. Music never left me. I won't leave it either. Did the army change you? Elvis paused. His mother came to mind. Priscilla, the secret concerts in Germany. And he answered, yes, it changed me. But it reminded me that I'm always myself. The crowd applauded, but Elvis knew. The real test was starting now. After 2 years, did they still remember him? When the door opened, what they saw. You haven't seen the biggest surprise yet. March 26, 1960, Miami, Frank Sinatra's Welcome Home Elvis special television program, Elvis's first performance. After 2 years. Backstage, Elvis looked in the mirror. He wore a black tuxedo. His hair was long like before, but he felt empty inside. "What if they don't like me?" he asked his manager. "They'll love you. They always have. They loved me 2 years ago. Now, who knows?" It was time to go on stage. Elvis took a deep breath, and he went out. The crowd went wild, screams, applause, tears. Elvis was back. He sang "Stuck on You," and he understood. Nothing had changed. His fans were still there. His music was still there. But Elvis had changed. Going on stage now had a different meaning. His mother's absence, Priscilla's longing, the loneliness in the army, everything had mixed into his music. When he read that document, Elvis wrote a letter to Priscilla after returning from Germany. "Dear Priscilla, I'm back, but I left a part of me there, with you. America welcomed me. The crowds applauded me, but I didn't hear your voice, your laughter. I want to bring you here. I'll talk to your family. You should come to Graceland. I'm waiting for you. Always, Elvis." In 1963, Priscilla came to America. She started living at Graceland, and Elvis felt complete again. But the world didn't know about this relationship. Nobody knew that Elvis's greatest gain during his army years was love. But what he didn't know yet. This is where everything changed. The 1960s. Elvis returned to films. He released records. He gave concerts. But something was missing. Colonel Parker controlled him. "The army changed you, Elvis. You look more mature now. We should use this." "What do you mean?" "No more rock and roll. Ballad songs, movies, family-friendly content." Elvis protested. "But I'm a rock and roller." "You used to be. Now you're different." And he was. Elvis had lost something in the army. His freedom, his mother, his old self. But he had gained something, maturity, depth, and the ability to understand real pain. That's why his songs in the 1960s were different, more emotional, more real. Because he wasn't just singing anymore, he was singing what he lived. Everyone had learned the truth, but the real shock. Elvis Presley spent 2 years in the army. Those 2 years could have ended his career, but they didn't. They strengthened him. Because in those 2 years, he lost his mother and found the meaning of his music. He found Priscilla and learned love. He found himself and remembered who he was. The army didn't change Elvis. It reminded Elvis who he was, what he lived for, and why he sang. Today, everyone talks about Elvis's success in the 1950s, the Las Vegas concerts of the 1970s. But nobody talks about those 2 years. In those 2 years, Elvis became a soldier, lost his mother, found love, and discovered his true self. Maybe Elvis's greatest performance was off stage, in uniform, without rank, just as Private Presley. On the wall of Graceland hangs Elvis's army photo, in his uniform, with a serious expression. Every time Priscilla looks at that photo, she smiles. "That man," she says, "was the Elvis I knew, the real Elvis." Because Elvis Presley was a human being before stepping on stage, and the army reminded him of that when they thought it was over. When Elvis returned, he was no longer just a singer. He had been a soldier. He had become an orphan. He had fallen in love, and his music had changed forever.